I'm not gonna wear like a sweater.
Alright.
You guys can be on this side of the room too.
Oh, that's
if
right.
you want.
That's okay.
Tim, are you the ultimate timer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So up is back, down is.
Down is next.
So, TED Talk is about judging others. I think we have a very high stigma here about judging the people that we are around. I know that might seem kind of biased. Just by show of hands, who here has judged somebody? Everybody, okay. And who of whoever raised their hands is solely based on what they look like, smell like, etc. Okay, everybody. And obviously that isn't a good thing. And hate to be the bearer of bad news, but anyone that you have judged has judged you back. It's at this point just human nature. And my goal of this is to stop judging others. So I think that our community and our world would be a much better place if obviously we didn't judge other people. I try my best not to judge other people based on how they look. So to start off with our world. The world can be a very judgmental place considering social media, and we all know the stigma behind public school and the difference between public school and private school. Our community, it depends on what kind of community you live in, the stigma behind that. If you live in a very high-end community or a low-end community, there definitely is a big difference there. Judgment of survival, judgment can also be very important for survival, is what I mean by that. For example, judgment can be taken for when you see a cactus, like, you know not to touch it because it's sharp and it's spiky, it'll hurt you. And it also goes along with your safety when in public areas, dangerous places. Like a dark alleyway, you know not to walk down a dark alleyway because it's dark, dingy, dimly lit. Take Batman as an example. I have had experiencing judgment and fear of judgment. I'll touch more on that later. From a few people in my life. One example would be my 9-year-old cousin. She's 9. She's getting into that teenager stage and that teenager mentality, and she's so afraid of the judgment of her friends and the people around her. And she's been asking her mom for a very long time about a certain popular Tumblr brand that I'm sure we all know about, solely because it's popular, all her friends have one, and same goes for a phone. We all know what kids and phones are like. And she's so afraid of not fitting in solely because of judgment. And because of that, it is an awful thing that someone at such a young age feels that judgment can be such an important thing in her life. And I think that judgment is a taught habit because working in childcare, I have noticed that children are very impressionable. They're like sponges. They absorb a lot of their surroundings. And until you're around children more than a couple times a month or whatever, you really start to notice just how impressionable they are. And that is one thing that I've noticed with her. Judgment of friends and relationships. I also have a friend who is very, I wouldn't say outgoing, but she likes to express herself, and it's not in a typical way. She wears a lot of eccentric jewelry. She recently dyed her hair pink, cut it really short. She shops at Hot Topic, and I'm sure many of people judge her based on how she looks, even how she acts. Sometimes without any sort of context, you would think like, oh, that's kind of odd. But since I've gotten to know her, honestly, I'd be guilty of that too if I didn't know what kind of person she was. But since I've gotten to know her personality, I love her as a person a lot more because she's so kind and caring, and I know more about her background and why she acts the way she does. And that is a very important factor of judgment. We should not judge people based on how they look. And a big part of judgment is the fear of judgment. The reason we give it is because we think we are receiving it, and that is also part of being taught judgment from our peers or parents, guardians, anything like that. So I think that we are doing a good job at moving past judgment, especially with our generation. We're trying to get further with the LGBTQ community, like sexual orientation, gender, race, things like that. And I think that a free country leaves no room for judgment, physical judgment. In conclusion, I think that if we just took a little more time to get to know the people around us without just seeing what's on the outside, we could benefit greatly from that.